see.
Carol.
So here's Come, whoever you are, whether you are joining us online or in person, whenever the last time you went to church, whomever you love.
Welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cheyenne, where we are building a community of refuge, where all have equal worth and are invited into spiritual exploration as a foundation for hope, compassionate service, and action.
This is a place where questions are encouraged.
This is a place with room for all of who you are.
This is a place full of works in progress.
This is a place for being human together.
Welcome. It is good to be here.
Settle in and exhale. This is a time for community.
Hello, I'm Gene Heater. I'm a member of the board, and I would like to welcome you to this church where we are on a shared journey to find meaning, connection, and community together. One way we do this is through the activities and events that happen in our building and in the community beyond our walls. Let me tell you about a couple of our events which are happening soon. Today is a religious education day, and all children ages 5 through 12 are invited to go downstairs at the end of our worship service when we sing our blessing song to the children. There, they will get a chance to reflect on the worship and have an egg hunt as part of our Easter celebration. We invite you to join Reverend Elizabeth for our UU History series on Thursdays in April on Zoom or in person in the church's library at 6:30. We will be discussing our Universalist heritage this coming Thursday. If you would like to help out as one of our Kamea dinner servers, please be in touch with Laurie McGill, there, to confirm your place for April or May. There is a sign-up sheet in the social hall as well. If you are interested in a Reading the Future book group, please join us. Our first gathering will be Thursday, April 27th, And our first book is Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Snacks will be provided. Let Reverend Elizabeth know if you need a copy of the book. Please note an update to our worship practice. In order to help our community more easily share the joys and sorrows of their lives, we encourage you to write one on one of the note cards tucked into the pews, along with the donation envelopes and our welcome cards for newcomers. We'll pass an additional basket along with the offering to gather these cards. You may write your name or leave your joy or sorrow anonymously. You can also write "Do not share" if you have a concern or need to share with a minister, but would prefer not to have it spoken aloud in prayer. We are running a paper drive for the next 4 weeks. Our biggest needs are plastic forks, large plates, small dessert plates, and coffee cups. Please bring them in and leave them at social hour. Also today, there will be a Realm question and answer and tutorial in the library at 11:15. If you have questions or would like to learn more about using the Realm app, please meet me there at 11:15 after you've gotten a cup of coffee. Also, if you're interested in New to UU today, get with Reverend Elizabeth during coffee hour. And one other thing we have, there's a family fun night scheduled for Friday, April the 14th from 6:30 to 7:30. And I think that's it for announcements.
I have one thing to add since,
sorry. Don't touch that.
Since we're doing the paper goods drive in the next 4 weeks, one of the other things that would be helpful is the plastic containers that you get from fast food places that we could put a single or a double serving of a meal in. So we're gonna clear out our meals for people that need help this week, because I've identified a couple people that need some meals that we have in the freezer. And some people have brought some really nice containers that I can use, like if we just want to put food in and take it for the day. But we don't have containers right now that we can freeze food in. So if you guys would like to also pick up a few containers, or if you have some at your house, please bring them. And if you would like to, when you're cooking during the week, fill one up with something and label what it is and put the date on it and bring it in on Sunday, you too can help fill up the freezer with meals for other people. So just to add that, since we're doing this for the next 4 weeks, that would be super helpful.
Each week, we gather both in person and on Zoom as a congregation. It is here that we gather our resources to sustain the work of this church and share our abundance with community organizations to broaden the reach of our values. You can find the address of the Realm app for giving online in your order of service, or your share the plate offerings. And pledges may also be dropped in the baskets now as they pass, or at the rear of the sanctuary at the end of the service. Our Share the Plate partner for the month of April is Black Dog Rescue. Please welcome the words of Abby Kircher to tell you a little bit about their work.
This morning, they've asked me to talk about their foster program because they're always looking for people to foster pets. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about their foster program. Fostering is a wonderful experience for you and your family. You can feel good knowing you helped save a life. Even better, you've created space in a shelter to accommodate other homeless dogs and cats. Black Dog makes fostering as easy as possible. They provide all the basic necessities for animals, including crates, kennels, leashes, collars, food, toys, treats. They're not responsible for any expenses. Foster families aren't, so any medical stuff or anything like that, Black Dog picks up. And they have a new program that people can try fostering. So it's called Try It Once, which allows people to try fostering and see if it fits with their family. They encourage families that have kids, dogs, other cats, because that way other foster family or the people that are adopting them know that maybe we should shy away from cats with this dog, or maybe older children, or they really do good with younger children. I have no idea how many dogs we have fostered, but it's been really good for our family and our kids and our dogs to share their house with other pets. But if you want more information, it's on their website. You can do the Try It Now and try fostering, but every little bit helps. So thank you guys. Oh, and Meredith Paul is playing for Elise. Did I do it? For Elise.
It's still over there on that corner.
We need one more basket when you have a moment. Thank you. Thank you. This one's a new practice.
Thank you to Meredith. I've been looking forward to her playing. Where'd she go? Oh, there she went. I don't know if she went out the door. Looking forward to her playing for many months now, so that was just gorgeous. We really appreciate our youth talent that we have here. Thanks. Yeah.
Keep your proclamations of grandeur. Give me an Easter as small as a seed, one that can be planted while it's still cold outside, one that can be watered with tears and demands time and patience to grow. I don't need to know how large it will become, or how long until it blossoms, or even if it will be pretty. I only want it to grow roots that dig deep down, striving for life in the underbelly of the world. Spare me the cosmic promises of otherworldly escape and point me to the sacred possibilities within reach. Tell me again about how nutrients born from decay keep even the saddest places brimming with potential for life. So for our opening hymn, I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit, opening your teal hymnals to the first hymn. Join us in singing hymn number 1000, Morning Has Come.
fantastic this morning. Wow, it's so good to see everybody this morning. It's awesome. As I was taking a walk in Lions Park the other day, finally, a nice day to go for a walk. Yes, yes. I got to thinking about Easter's past. What came to mind to me are Easter Sunday dresses made by my stepmother that were matching my two younger sisters' dresses. Easter bonnets, matching, of course, and black patent leather shoes with white ruffled socks. And I was reminded even more so this morning when I saw Marcy and her beautiful family come in with their bow ties and little suits on. I mean, that was a big occasion to get dressed up. So as we go through today's service, may you find some of those fond memories of Easter. And if you don't, maybe you will be able to build on some of those memories today. Our chalice lighting words are by Jennifer McLaughlin, like the first hint of green. As the first hint of green begins to peek through the barren ground, as the little sprig grows into a healthy stem, as that stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, and as that bud slowly opens with each new day to form a yellow daffodil. Let us be like that first hint of green, renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays, and ready to emerge with a new energy, ready to face the day. We light this chalice to bring a glimmer of that warmth into our space. So I see a whole bunch of young people today. That gives my heart great pleasure. Would you like to come up and help us lead the covenant? And then you get to stay for a story. So for those of you who are new or visiting, the covenant is contained on I think it's on the front side of your order of service. So take a look there. Let's get the kids ready. Oh, we got more. Hold on.
All right.
More out there.
Are all you young at heart ready to speak as well the words of our covenant?
Are you ready?
Love is the spirit of this church, and this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth, and to help others.
Thank you.
And now we'll just sit right here and talk about our message for all ages, because today is Easter. And do we know what Easter celebrates? Yeah. There's the Easter Bunny, and that's definitely a thing to celebrate. There's an even older story. Do you know who it's about? I'll give you a clue. Jesus. Yeah. You were going to say Jesus, yeah. So. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story of Jesus, because in this congregation, because we hold many different theologies, sometimes we don't talk as often about Bible stories as some other churches do. But this one's a really important one. So it's the story of Jesus. And if you were around on Christmas, what did we celebrate on Christmas about Jesus?
As he died.
Not that he died. We celebrate Jesus's birthday. Yeah, so on Christmas, we celebrate Jesus's birthday. We give presents because he got presents when he was born. And on Easter, we celebrate because there's this really interesting story about Jesus's life. So Jesus was born. in a manger, which is to say he was born in a barn with animals. Not really the place we think of like, oh, this person's going to be super special. They're not in a fancy place, just getting born like any normal person. And then Jesus grows up, and Jesus becomes a prophet and a teacher and a really courageous person. A prophet is someone who tells you the way that things could be if you were really brave and caring, the way that things ought to be in the world, if only we loved each other even better. So Jesus believed that people could be good friends and be nicer to each other, and it would make the world a much better place for everyone. And he wasn't shy about saying so. But instead of just going around and shaking his finger at people and saying, you should be nicer, because how many people are like, oh yeah, that sounds great if somebody just points their finger at you? Maybe. But instead, Jesus would say, hey, here's a story. Here's a story about flowers in the field sharing the sunlight. Here's a story about birds gathering food together, and there's enough for everyone. And people would say, oh, I could be like that bird. Maybe I could be one of the flowers in the fields. And they would learn. Well, Jesus' stories got so powerful that they were making the entire Roman Empire start to change. And the Romans got pretty scared. They weren't sure that they would be in control if people were just getting up and moving and sharing what they had and wandering away from their jobs and homes and all the things that an empire can control. The Romans said, we have to get rid of this Jesus guy. And so they had him thrown in jail. And then they had him killed. And that is the story of Good Friday. But then, here's the amazing part. Now, some people say that Jesus himself rose up from the dead, and some people think that that's a story that maybe isn't literally true, but what we know is definitely true is those stories got up, and they kept being told so strongly that it was like Jesus was still everywhere with those who believed the stories. Yeah, it was like Jesus had woken up and kept telling them. And that is the kind of faith that we have here when we share in worship together. When we're not sure if we could learn a new thing, or maybe we're about to do something hard and we need friends and a community. When we're having a rough or a sad day. It was like Jesus planted these seeds with his stories like we do here in our sanctuary each week. And they grew and they bloomed like flowers. And so today, when you hear this story, and then later when you go outside for your egg hunt, I'm going to ask you to notice all the things that are growing, just like your faith and your courage, just like in the stories that come from Jesus and from all of our wise teachers. So, today we're going to remember that when we're having a tough time, being bold and courageous, that we might do one small, brave thing, and it might grow like a flower or like a story, and it might change the world. So, y'all ready to change the world?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, let's But egg hunts first. But even before that, we're going to head back to our seats because it's time for the pastoral prayer. Yeah. So now, as we join together in a spirit of prayer and meditation, I'm going to invite you to be part of these stories, a moving part of the blessing of our prayers. As Tibetan Buddhists spin prayer wheels to send forth blessings, or pagans use circle or spiral dances to wind together the energy of community, today we are going to create a circling movement in our own community, reminiscent of all those things that come around again. So, anyone who would like during this time, as we sing a meditative song, is invited to come forward down the center aisle, light a votive candle representing a prayer or a wish for the community, and then continue up the west aisle this way, creating a circular pattern in the congregation. And if you're joining us online, I invite you to walk or dance or form a moving circle with your hands and move through your own space in reflection of this community's collective motion. This will be our moving prayer. We'll continue to repeat our shared song until all who wish have had a chance to make that circle and light a candle. Feel welcome to whisper a name or blessing over your candle as you light it to help direct your mindfulness in this space. But if you'll turn in your teal hymnals to hymn number 1031, we will sing together, "May we be filled with loving kindness." We'll sing once and then continue with people coming up to light their candles. Thank you. And may we speak aloud the names of Lisa Todd, who could use your prayers, your well wishes for healing. And our love and appreciation go with Mike Chauncey and Kathy Jenkins on their move to Washington. They have been a beloved part of this church for so many years. Let us breathe together. And say, Amen. And now we move to a moment for generosity, a moment not only to remind you that this is pledge season, and the technical part of that is if you haven't turned in a pledge form or had a conversation, that would be a wonderful thing for you to do. There are some out on the main table that you are welcome to pick up. But also to remind us that part of being a part of church is to be here for one another with your time, with your talent, and with your treasures. And that includes our financials. We have no great denominational pot of magic money. We create this church for one another. We are what makes our faith go. So now, let us breathe into our centering music.
Thank you for your gift of music, Priscilla. Always beautiful. Now, I think some of you adults are going to recognize this reading. I don't know. We'll see if some of the kids do too. So this is from the Bible, the Gospel of John 21-18. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter, the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." So Peter and the other disciple started for the tomb. Both were running, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent over and looked in at the stripes of linen laying there, but did not go in. Then Simon Peter came along behind him and went straight into the tomb. He saw the strips of linen laying there, as well as the cloth that had been wrapped around Jesus' head. The cloth was still lying in its place, separate from the linen. Finally, the other disciple, who had reached the tomb first, also went inside. He saw and believed. They still did not understand from Scripture that Jesus had risen from the dead. Then the disciples went back to where they were staying. Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw 2 angels in white seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you are looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you've carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will go get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with the news, "I have seen the Lord," and she told them what he had said to her. Amen? I don't know. Thanks.
Well, today is Easter. On the year that I stole the Easter bunny, I learned what Easter was really all about. You see, the Easter baskets in our house were filled every year with a couple of new toys or ornaments being added to the ones that had been given the last year. So the basket each year contained a few more things, traditional and new every time. And my brother and I would play with our toys and snuggle our stuffed Easter bunnies to sleep and put our springtime ornaments around our rooms on the shelves to enjoy. And then over the next couple of months, by the magic of the Easter bunny, they would disappear one by one as we forgot about them, unnoticed, until the next year when they would reappear, all these toys, along with the new eggs and toys to bring Easter joy once more. But one year, I decided I was going to keep the Easter bunny. No one was going to steal away my toy. He was cuddly. He was lovely. I didn't want him to disappear, so I hid him underneath every other stuffed animal I owned in the back of the pile, making sure he couldn't be found by me either. And I forgot about him, forgot where he had been put, until, well, the next Easter came around again, and there was no yellow bunny in my Easter basket. Nothing cuddly and stuffed. And so that Easter, I lamented that I didn't get a stuffed toy like my brother did. His basket had one. But I realized in that Easter my part in the narrative. And this is a thing that people have been learning for generations, ever since this great myth of Jesus' death and resurrection began to be told. We have to be a part of it. The original Easter story goes that Jesus, a wise teacher, was killed by an oppressive political system for encouraging people to band together to solve their problems communally through kindness. The story is an old one, and it repeats throughout history. More recently, we can remember people like Fred Hampton, killed in Chicago after the Black Panthers began organizing free breakfast programs and health clinics in underserviced areas in Black communities. We might remember Martin Luther King Jr., assassinated once he began supporting unions, demanding an end to the Vietnam War. We might remember leaders from other nations, Bishop Oscar Romero or Honduran activist Berta Cáceres. We remember always that community organizing is powerful and intimidating to those who would rather that people be passive, easily led, and not able to take care of one another. So Jesus was arrested and hung on a cross as a political enemy of Rome. He dies slowly, and his body is taken down. His followers have run away in fear of further persecution. And also, as observant Jews, they must be home by sundown on Friday to recall God and keep the Sabbath, even in a time of tragedy. So Jesus' body is placed in a cave, and it is closed by the Roman authorities. And the story goes that after the Sabbath ends at sundown on Saturday night, the women make a plan. They will get up early on Sunday morning, or perhaps they don't even sleep Saturday night, grieving and worried. But at the first breaking of the dawn, they go to the tomb, ready to wash and ready Jesus' body for burial. And the stone has been rolled away. The cave is open. The tomb is empty. And they are met there by someone in white, perhaps angels, who tell them Jesus is gone from this place. He lives. He is going onward. And whatever you believe about the literal truth of this story, whether it is true resurrection or a metaphor or a mystery, the undeniable fact remains that this story continues to inspire, that communities form, lives change. Jewish people, as well as Greek who hear it, grow a whole new religious faith, a religion that gave them courage, offered new hope of liberation, greater equality for women and enslaved people, the young and unmarried, the widowed women, finding places of status through care beyond their households. So Jesus' message was resurrected again and again as people got involved in the creation of wonder. And that's what I learned from that little story, from my Easter basket and my Easter rabbit. In a small way, I learned if I'm not prepared to get involved in the creation of magic, to let there be a time when that bunny disappears and I'm sad about the loss, then I won't have the magical moment, the joy of reappearance and renewal, the delight of an abundant Easter basket, and the reappearance of that toy I loved each and every year. I had to engage with the moment of magic. Believe that it's okay if the Easter toys disappear, because they're coming back. That's really the Easter story in a nutshell, that we have to be willing to believe in magic enough to participate in the story and make it real. We have to be willing to have our hearts broken open to offer them to love. We have to be willing to keep ourselves tender and soft in this world if we are to find the joy in compassion and the liberation of being part of beloved community that cares for one another. We have to be willing to lose and to mourn, to gain the delight of return and regeneration. We have to be willing to be surprised, for wonder and mystery to keep their hold on us. We need magic in this world. And so we must be open to uncertainty, to not having the answers for everything. This Easter, our children are going out to have an egg hunt in just a few minutes. And they will get stickers that remind them to put their hearts into the world. They'll find stones to touch and hold and build courage, like the one that rolled away from the tomb, opening us to new possibility. You might tell your story as fearlessly as Mary and the women at the tomb. And then, well, you'll find candy, of course, because the return is sweet. You'll find a piece of colored chalk for making your mark on the world in love. And finally, when you've found all of those things, come back, and each family will get a packet of seeds reminding us that stories, religions, people, and the world are ready for more growth and renewal. Because this is the springtime. It's renewal time, it's delight time. It's the moment for leaping into puddles and watching the green burst forth from below the earth. This is Easter, the time of miracles. This is Easter, and you, every one of you, are a participant in the making of joy. This is Easter, when you are part of helping the world come alive again. So go forth and touch the world with your heart, your hands, and go forth and be part of making the miracle. And in celebration of that miracle, we'll rise in body or spirit to join in singing our closing hymn, number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. It's in your gray hymnal, and we will sing the first and the fourth verse.
That you continue to stand, please, and we're going to extinguish the chalice by reading the words that are on the inside of your order of service. I'll let you have a minute to find those. And then we want to bring the children forth to do that.
I need my flame carrier.
We need a flame carrier. Oh, here we come. Oh, we got a few flame carriers. Good job.
Fabulous.
Okay, so hold on just a second. We're going to extinguish this flame. Are you ready? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry within our hearts until we are together again. And now I invite you to turn, oh, I hope that was a
And that's why we use the electric
a battery
candle.
one, and turn toward the aisle, and we're going to sing our children out to their class with the words printed on the back of your worship insert. So are you ready? Children,
As you go, the lessons we have learned together, to sing the light of truth, to sing the fire of caring, always returning to the warmth of this community. And so, as our Easter service concludes, let us take forth the light of hope. Though it be small as a seed, let it grow, and keep on opening your heart so that you, too, can be a part of changing the world. May it be so, and blessed be.